Palmyra, a site that archaeological evidence dates back to the Neolithic period. However, documents first mention it in the early 2nd millennium BCE. The city had been a part of different empires before becoming a subject of the Roman Empire in the 1st century CE. The inhabitants of Palmyra worshipped various deities of Near Eastern and Mediterranean origin, including the Assyrian and Babylonian god Bel, before Christianity became the official religion of the Roman Empire in 380 CE. The beloved Queen Zenobia of Palmyra lived during the time of the Roman domination of Palmyra in the late 3rd century CE. Like many others in the city, she spoke several languages, including Aramaic, Arabic, Greek, and Latin. She possibly also spoke Egyptian, as her mother may have been from Egypt. Often compared to the Egyptian queen Cleopatra, Zenobia was known as a great leader. Extremely ambitious, she decided to openly challenge Rome instead of trying to establish herself within the Roman framework of power. She conquered Egypt and parts of Anatolia, but her armies were eventually defeated by the Roman Emperor Aurelian. Zenobia was taken back to Rome as a captive, and some ancient accounts say that she ultimately wed a Roman senator. Even if her plans failed, her short-lived empire resembled, in its shape, the one envisioned by Cleopatra and Antony. From beautifully crafted royal edicts to scribbles of graffiti carved into columns, ancient inscriptions, writings etched onto stone, provide evidence for what life was like in the ancient world. Eulogies on gravestones, for example, memorialize the accomplishments of ancient individuals, while prayers carved into the inner walls of temples keep a record of ancient anxieties, hopes, and the gods worshipped therein. While inscriptions are incredibly valuable pieces of history, studying and translating them is a difficult and specialized field. Stones broken and worn with age often mean inscriptions are fragmentary, while styles of script and languages change over time. A fully preserved inscription is a rare and valuable find. In the 3rd and 4th centuries, before Rome adopted Christianity under the Emperor Constantine I, Palmyra and the Mediterranean as a whole saw a rise in the population of Christians. In Palmyra, archaeologists uncovered multiple inscriptions that told of a rising Christian population in the 4th and 5th centuries. Among these inscriptions is a graffito praising a single god. In Greek, the inscription reads,
Hes Theos Zoe,
translating to, one God, life. It was carved into one of the columns on the city's grand colonnade. While we do not know the identity of the person who etched the words into the column, the phrases they used were common in other Syrian and Near Eastern inscriptions of the time. Scholars believe it may have been written by a Christian living in Palmyra during the 4th or 5th century. The Temple of Bel was dedicated in the year 32 of the Common Era, although the site had been used as a temple to the god Bel for several centuries. Bel is an important Assyrian and Babylonian deity, and the temple in Palmyra reflected a blending of Near Eastern and Mediterranean forms of worship. The temple was destroyed by ISIS on August 30th, 2015. An inscription that names the architect of the Temple of Bel, Alexander, was found on an altar base inside of an Arabic house, and was likely inscribed between the years 38 and 46 of the Common Era. In Greek, the inscription reads,
Alexandros architekton theou beloth epoiei, translating into English as, Alexander the architect of the god Bel. He made this.
While it is unclear the exact role this Alexander had in the construction of the temple, scholars believe that he was likely not the architect of the cella, the inner chamber of the temple, but perhaps a member of the workshop permanently attached to the temple for repairs and upkeep. An ancient milestone erected in the 270s CE had a multilingual inscription dedicated to the Empress Zenobia. The milestone was found west of the city of Palmyra. The Greek section of the inscription was partially damaged before archaeologists recorded the inscription in the early 20th century, but the Aramaic text is relatively intact.
The surviving part of the Greek text says, "And for the well-being of Septimia Zenobia, the illustrious queen, mother of the king." And the Aramaic text says, "For the life and victory of the illustrious Septimius Wahbalat Athenodoros, king of kings and commissioner of all the East, son of Septimius Odayanat, king of kings, and for the life of the illustrious Septimia Batzabai, the queen, the mother of the king of kings, daughter of Antiochus."
Milestones were an important part of ancient Roman road networks, and would often have inscriptions dedicated to the emperor reigning at the time the stone was erected. This particular milestone demonstrates that Zenobia was working on building the empire's infrastructure, and that the people of Palmyra accepted her rule as Mother of the King.